Welcome to Find Your Balance, a U.S. Eagle podcast about making smart money moves. We're here to help you navigate all the financial topics that contribute to a better, more balanced financial life. I'm Alicia, and today we're kicking off the new year with an exciting episode all about starting fresh with your finances. We know how overwhelming it can be to set financial goals, especially if you're not sure where to start. That's why we're thrilled to have a special guest with us, Taylor, a member service representative from our Academy branch. Taylor has helped countless members take control of their finances and is here to share some simple, effective ways to build better money habits in 2025. Whether you're looking to save more, spend smarter, or just get a handle on your budget, this episode is packed with tips to help you succeed. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive in. So, Taylor, what's your advice for someone who feels completely overwhelmed by money?
So me being 25 years old, about to turn 26, I feel like I'm in the prime age group that kind of feels overwhelmed by money because not only are people in their mid-20s are getting ready to graduate with in their late 20s getting ready to graduate with either a bachelor's or a master's in their specific field, and so they have to work a part-time job on top of that, living by themselves. There's a lot of people in my age group that are very overwhelmed by money, and the best thing to do is to understand that saving your money is probably one of the best things that you can do. To have an emergency fund is probably one of the best things that you can do. Whether it's I've had a member tell me that they have a specific savings account that they put $20 into and they do not touch, point blank period. Whether it's for a car emergency or whether it's for a house emergency, they don't touch it. They leave that be. And so 10 years down the line, when you need to have this super important surgery or something like that, you at least have some money able to go ahead to pay for that one thing.
Yeah, for sure. Now, if someone's living paycheck to paycheck, where do they start? How do they begin saving money?
So the best thing that I saw, and a lot of people have many different methods. One of the methods is 20% of your paycheck should be going to your emergency savings, and 30% of your paycheck should be going towards making sure that you're, paying your bills on time and everything as well. Maybe even 40%, 50% depending on how many bills that you have. And then a very small portion of that check should be only used for, personal pleasures, if that makes sense. Going out to eat with your spouse, or whether that be buying a new video game on Xbox or PlayStation or whatever it may be, It's important to have your priorities in check. And if you don't have your priorities in check, you can easily slip into a big slope of credit card debt, of loan debt, of just many different aspects that makes life not fun or enjoyable, really.
Right. And speaking of debt, if someone is in debt, because I know a lot of us are, if someone is in debt, whether it be credit card debt or, they bought an expensive car or whatever it is, are there any steps that they can take to begin that journey to get out of debt?
The best thing to do is to probably even go to your closest financial institution, us, U.S. Eagle, as a prime example. We have a bunch of financial counselors, financial consultants. I'll be more than happy to sit down and have a conversation with you of how to get out of debt and how to make sure that you have an action plan set. A lot of people consolidate their debt. So let's say they have debt from many institutions, and then they also have a couple cards, 2 different credit cards that are maxed out and everything as well. You can talk to different financial institutions, different credit unions to see if we can borrow a loan to pay off those preceding debts, and then only have one debt to pay on as opposed to many different debts.
And what are the first steps for that? How do we go about talking to a financial consultant at USC?
So first thing first is, you need to find the branch that's closest to you. You can even give them a call ahead of time, call our call center to, set up an appointment with one of them as well. Or you can even just head into branch, explain your situation. Then we can definitely get you helped out right then and there. Pretty easy, pretty fast. A lot of people don't like the extra time commitments that it takes to get these things done. But in my opinion, I would gladly put in a little bit more extra effort if it means making my quality of life a little bit better, if that makes sense, So that is the best thing to do, is to come on into the branch. We like to see beautiful faces as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So Taylor, are there, we're trying to give people tips on what to do and where to start. Are there things that they should avoid? Are there different mistakes that you see? Because, day to day you're in branch. Are there common mistakes that you see people making?
There's a lot of different mistakes that I see a lot of people making. One of the first step is probably like the first mistake is probably the fact that they don't do enough research about different interest rates when it comes to different credit cards. Then the second one is using different credit cards to pay off existing credit cards. And that's kind of a big loop as well, depending on the credit card that you received. Like big banks have like crazy high interest rates when it comes to credit cards, like upwards towards like 30% as well. If you can afford it, awesome, cool, perfect. You have some cool perks with it, but not every average Joe can afford those interest rates. I know it's like super great to have unlimited money. It seems like to get everything that you want. Having a smaller limit when you're first starting, like here at a US Eagle, we have a credit builder credit card. And so like if your credit is shot really awful, really bad, you can get that secure that credit builder credit card and help building your credit so you can start, building a better financial foundation as well.
How does that work? Like, how is that better than like a normal credit card?
So it's wonderful. It's pretty nice because you have like a certain limit that you can borrow off of. Like this has like a small $500, $1,000 limit as well, something pretty easy for you to pay off of. And so, like some other credit cards, like my first credit card had a limit of $8,500. Me being 25, having $8,500, like, oh my goodness, it's like a kid in a candy store. It's great. I can get everything that I want. But you know what? Like, if you don't have the willpower or the confidence in yourself to, kind of think about the purchase you're about to make, having that credit builder credit card with a very small balance, available balance is really nice so you can start building that trust within yourself.
Absolutely. I know in my early 20s, I got into some serious credit card debt because I didn't know, I didn't know that it was bad. I just got a credit card when I was 18 and it was like, oh, this is fun. I can spend and not thinking about having to pay it back. And I didn't have like a high credit limit, but still, but I think that it's important to talk about this stuff. And so people know because it's not a common thing. It's not always taught. Financial literacy isn't as readily available as we would hope, which we are hoping to change that. We always focus on financial literacy. But, speaking of that, how does financial literacy make a difference for someone new to money?
So financial literacy is something that I feel should have been taught a while ago in high school because, having understanding of what credit is and how it works, understanding credit limits and credit cards and APYs and interest rates and understanding investing into 401k into your retirement as well. Learning that at such a young age, I feel like is so vital. Having that financial literacy background, and it makes things less intimidating. It makes things less scary. Because let's face it, getting like a $500,000 loan to pay on a house is pretty intimidating. How am I going to pay that back? What if I lose my job? Having that literacy to understand your finances and how to get ahead, I feel like is vital for a lot of people at every single age, but especially people just starting out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I love that you said every single age because I think that, you're never too young and you're never too old. So whether you're buying your first house or your fifth house or whatever it is, wherever you are in life, wherever you are in your journey, it's never too late to learn new things. Things are always changing. So love that. And Taylor, can you share an example of maybe a member who was new to financial planning and succeeded? Something that you saw.
So what I found this really interesting is there was a member that came in. He was taught he was like in his mid-40s or something. He was taught from such a young age to not trust banks and to not trust financial institutions or anything. There's a lot of people out there that are like that have been taught that. And so when he first came in, he shared his story with us, and we got him sat down with a financial consultant, and he was able to understand overdraft tolerance. He was able to understand overdraft fees. We don't charge any fees here at US Eagle for that, by the way. He was able to understand different loans as well that we offer here as well. He was able to get a better grasp and a better understanding of where he was at financially, of how to build that foundation to make sure that he was succeeding as well. So now that he has like a revolving line of credit with us as well, once he pays it back, he's able to borrow off of it. And seeing that and being part of that was a very beautiful feeling for sure.
Yeah, I love that. And I know I keep talking about the financial consultant, but that actually really interests me. I know I work for US Eagle, but I actually have not met with a financial consultant, but I would like to do that. So is that something that is like a paid service that we offer?
So it's a completely free service, and so it's really nice. It's great to have that understanding of being able to walk into an establishment, understand that you're going to get, pretty much free advice of how to get back on your feet, a free advice of, just have a better quality of life as well. So it's a completely free service for anyone to take advantage of as well. Even if you have a decent amount of money and you're looking to invest it, we even have a financial advisor as well.
Yeah. Are they like able to help someone come up with a budget? Like if someone schedules an appointment and comes into the office and is like, hey, I would like to start a budget. Can you help me? Are they able to do that?
Yes, they definitely can. We have a very empathetic group of financial consultants that are willing and ready to sit down with you about budgeting, how to pay your bills on time, how to make sure that you're allocating enough money to your savings, how to allocate enough money to your 401k, how to do all that good stuff. So they can definitely help you out, create a budget to make sure everything is all set to go so you're not stressed.
I mean, I think it's important to create a budget, but in your opinion, how important is it to create a budget, and like what's an easy way to start one?
I think it's super important to create a budget, especially if you're not earning that much money, you're just starting out, especially with, waiters, waitressing, you have to calculate all the amount of tips that you have. And then you have to create your budget based off of that as well. So, you need to make sure you have enough money for rent. You have to make sure you have enough money for groceries and food. You have to understand if you want to do weekly grocery hauls, if you want to do bi-weekly grocery hauls, if you want to go to Costco and get everything at one time. You have to ask yourself all these different questions of what you want to do, where you want to be, and is this going to help you achieve your goals that you have for yourself and have set for yourself? Like for me, my goal is to, be financially sound where I'm not stressed and being able to live by myself without any outside assistance. I want to make sure that I create that budget for myself. And so the first questions that I have to ask myself is, how much money am I willing to spend on an apartment? How much money am I willing to spend on myself? Am I willing to, spend on small little different things? Am I willing to make different cuts as well?
And, it goes without saying, but it does vary person to person. Like depending on your goals and where you want to end up, where you want to be, like your goal is to live by yourself and, not stress about money. But there are other goals, small goals, big goals. Everyone's at a different place in their financial journey, I guess. And so Taylor, what is one final piece of advice you'd like to give listeners who want to make 2025 their best financial year yet?
To make your best financial year is be self-aware and do some research. Having self-awareness of where you're at financially and being raw with yourself of where you're at financially is the first step. Ripping the Band-Aid off. Like, let's say like you have a lot of credit card debt and you have a lot of loans and you're wondering in how you're going to pay those off. You're just drowning in those. First off is to stop kind of making excuses for yourself and be raw and rip off the Band-Aid and understand that like, yo, I might need some help to get out of this situation. It's okay to ask for help, especially with money and especially with loans and something that is scary as taking control of your finances. So having the self-awareness, but also doing enough research of where do you want to bank, where do you want to make sure that your money is safe and everything. US Eagle is pretty nice as well to bank with us and, making sure that your money is safe and secure with knowledgeable staff as well. So doing enough research and being self-aware are probably the best things to do.
Okay, wonderful. I love that advice. Well, thank you, Taylor. And to all of the listeners, thank you for listening in. This was Find Your Balance, a US Eagle podcast, and we hope to see you next time.